Hi, welcome back. Okay, Sunday simple skills. Right, today I want to do something to complement this thing here that I made a little while ago to undo the lock ring on the axle shaft for the Kawasaki. Now obviously that itself did a great job of undoing it, and it will do it up just the same, piece of old exhaust header pipe. But it won't torque it up. Loads of you quite rightly said that you should torque that up, and all I have to do is cut that off, weld a socket on the end of it, and then I can torque it up. Or cut it off, weld a nut on it, and I can then torque it up. I think someone else said, I think the best one I liked the most was cut it off, weld a metal plate across the top that's got a square hole in, and you can torque it up. But the one thing in common with all those three suggestions is welding. Now I can weld it up, yeah, no problem at all, I could do that easy, but lots of you can't. So what I'm going to do today, because lots of you haven't got welders, what I mean by that is probably 90% of people don't own a welder unless they feel they want to start doing fabrication. So if you haven't got a welder and you can't weld something on the end of that, and you don't want to trash a socket, I'm going to make something a little bit different today, and it's going to be along the lines of these here things. You've all seen these. All right, we get them in suspension packs when you buy suspension. They're the adjusting C-spanners that you do for the collars that pressurize the spring or preload the spring, and then there's a lock ring above it. Now if you look in any manual, you'll see that it always says torque up the lock ring to X amount. Usually it's something like 15 Newton meters. It's not a lot, so most of us just nip them up, job done. But obviously if you want to torque it up, and in this case I do, then you need something that you can put a torque wrench in that is also a C-spanner. That ain't hard, is it? You can work it out already. All you've got to do is take one of them, and at this point here, cut a square hole in it that you can put the torque wrench in. Job done. It's ever so easy, but rather than trash one of these, which after all, they're made out of sheet metal, so that's not really reliable anyway. I've got some nice 5mm plate, I can actually make one. So need a tool, make a tool. Simple Skill Sunday, I'm going to make a little torque wrenchable C-spanner, so I can not only do up these things in the future, and the headstock bearings lock nut, also at the same time, I can simply drill one hole in that, and then use the C-spanner, when I need to torque it up to the relevant pressure. Ain't hard, is it? So there we go. Eyes down for a full house, let's get stuck in. Welcome back. Right, there we are. Need a tool, make a tool. Happy with that. Job's a good one. Love it. Nice and beef. Made out of 5mm steel. Ain't going anywhere. Now, the idea of this is kind of, you know, belt and braces. I could have just made the right one of them. I could have made it out of a socket. I know. I could have made it out of a bit of scaffold tube and then welded a socket on the end or a nut or something. Like all the suggestions you made. Yes or no? I could have done all that. Fantastic. But I can't like that. It's a piece of exhaust pipe made into a lock ring adjuster. I like that a lot. It's kind of Frankenstein. So drilling a hole in it means I can now put a C-spanner in it. And I just love that. I just love it to bits. That means now I can pop that in there when it comes to doing it up. Just get it in there nice and square. There we are. C-spanner on there. Torque wrench. And snap that in the hole. Put it in that way. Pop. There we go. Simple. And now I can torque that up. And I haven't got to worry. Now the other thing is as well, I can use that also on any of the shocks, on the headstock, and I can now torque them up properly. It's important as well to mention at this point, if you're going to do this, if you're going to make an extension bar to your torque wrench, it's very important that you take into consideration the extra leverage, because one of these adds that much leverage to the torque setting. So if that torque setting is, I don't know, 20 Newton meters, then that's decided upon whilst the torque wrench is right above the fitting, right above it. That's it's correct there. If you bring this off to here, like you would do with that, then you've added leverage to there, that much, about 2.5 inches of leverage. So the torque setting there doesn't want to be 20 as it's recommended to be. It wants to be reduced, and the amount by which you reduce it is a simple equation. Spoke to Mr. Dyson because he's a clever person, and I think he said a simple equation he uses is you take the length of the torque wrench itself, like that, multiply that by the torque setting that you want, then divide the results by the total length of the tool and extension, and that will give you a lower torque setting. Now don't take my word for that, because I've never done this myself with one of these. I just nip them up, and it's only now I really want to torque that up properly because it's the swing arm, and I think that's the most important fitting next to the headstock. It must be done right. So make sure you do that equation right. If you buy the Norbar dog bone set, dog bones are basically these, but they've got the peg one end and they've got a little ring spanner the other end. And you get a set of them, all different sizes. If you look in the lid on the Norbar set, there's the equations all in there, so you can do it for yourself. But please look it up. You can actually download an app, believe it or not. Not that I know because I haven't got a smartphone, but you can download an app for your Android or your iPhone, and that will tell you how to calculate exactly what that torque setting should be. And finally, one more point. If you're going to do that, if you're going to use one of these, that must always be in line. The extension tool must be in line with the torque wrench, not like that. Don't torque it up like that, because that then messes up the equation of the torque yet again. It must always be that way on, in line. Okay, there we go. I'm probably going to oil blacken that in the future. I'm going to just keep an eye on it and see if it rusts. It's just mild steel, nice and malleable, but it'll probably be okay. If it does rust or anything, I'm just going to oil blacken it or heat it up, dump it in some oil, and that'll stop it rusting forever, because I'm going to keep that forever. That's the sort of tool that I love to make. Absolutely chuffed to bits with that. Really, really nice finish. Really nice piece of kit. And yet, like I said many times, you could probably buy that, but I like making them. It's just enjoyable. It's 3 hours. I absolutely enjoyed it. It's the weekend. Nothing better to do right now. So there we go. You can make yourself one of them. Hope that helps you. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.